Welcome back everyone, it's Kevin with Muddy River Tactical. Thank you for joining us today. Today we have the Canik Rival. We're going to shoot this gun and go over some of the details and tell you what we like about it and what we don't like about it. Canik is one of those brands that it brings the haters out of the woodwork. When you mention Canik, you got the guys that love them or you got the guys that go, oh, that crap's made in Turkey, blah, 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 get all political. I'm not here to go political. Would I rather this gun be made in the USA? 100%. Bottom line is, it's made in Turkey, and I can't argue that it's a great gun. So we're here to tell you the full truth on this Canik Rival. Alright guys, so you get this brand new Canik Rival, you bring it home. First thing you need to do, all joking aside, take this crap holster, toss it in the trash. Come get a holster from Muddy River Tactical. We'll get you taken care of and you can have a custom holster made for this gun. Now, on to the details. This gun comes with two 18-round magazines, and it does come with an a mag well there. I chose not to put it on. I do not personally like it because when I grip the gun right there, my pinky would ride against that grip and I just didn't care for it, so I chose to run it this way. They also make this in I think it's a dark night or dark edition, which is all blacked out. We got this one just because this is a competition style gun. This isn't a concealed carry gun, so I just kind of like that this one stands out a little bit. This one you can get with or without an optic. They're all optic cut. This one came with Canik's optic, which I'm just going to be honest with you, I'm not a super fan of. If I'm going to end up keeping this gun, I'm going to put a Holosun on it. This one just came on it, so we've shot all the rounds with this optic, and it works, but it just doesn't have the shake awake technology, so you got to make sure the optic's on, and it's just a hassle, and I'm not the biggest fan of the optic. Other than that, let's start at the front. So the sights, if you do not run an optic, have a red fiber optic front and a blacked out rear. It's got a full front rail for any lights or lasers if you so chose to add them. This gun is a 5-inch barrel, striker fired gun with a polymer frame. The slide you can see has these great slide serrations. The back slide serrations aren't the greatest, but these front ones more than make up for it. In a competition style environment, you'll see a lot of the guys go over the front and rack their guns that way. You see very few of them racking it on the back. So that's kind of where they led here. And they did a super good job with those slide serrations. They work flawlessly and have no problem at all. The mag release is swappable, so you can switch it to the other side for the left-handed shooters like myself if you so chose to. It is extended as well, so it's plenty big to always hit easily. The slide release is the bar style like you see on other Caniks and the HKs. Those that watch the channel know I'm a super fan of that, and it works very good. The takedown is just like all the Glocks right here. You pull that down and then the slide comes off. Super easy to take off. I'm not going to do it right now because you've all seen Glocks comes apart the exact same way. One thing I will mention though is this gun has a stainless steel guide rod in it, which is super nice. And when you're talking about a gun this gun's MSRP is $679, the features that this gun packs into that amount of money is really insane. This is really a budget starter competition pistol, but it shoots like some of the higher end guns. And for $600, give or take, there's just not anything that compares with it in this style, in my opinion. The trigger, just like all the Caniks, is amazing. The only trigger that I would even say anywhere comes close to comparing to this trigger is the Walther PDP, which you guys know I'm a huge fan of. That's personally my favorite pistol right now. But the trigger is super comparable to that. So the trigger safety has ridges, like a texture on the front, so it has no movement and is a flat face trigger. It has a little take up and then a solid wall and then just a clean break. I think it's right around 4 pounds. And then the reset, super fast and right back to that wall. This trigger combined with the longer barrel on this gun makes this pistol unbelievably accurate. We've shot this gun up to 80 yards and was having hits on a 12-inch target, no problem at all. This is a gun that will make all levels of shooter, whether you're beginning or very high-end shooter, it will bring out the best in you. I almost guarantee it. I don't consider myself a great shot. I shoot a lot of pistols, but there's a lot of guys way better than me. This pistol just really upped what I felt confident doing. And shooting 80 yards, I'm not confident with a lot of pistols. With this one, it made it fairly easy. So going back to the optic plates real fast so I don't forget. This comes with all the different optic plates. And the optic plate is aluminum, but it's got threaded inserts. So it keeps the weight off the slide so that the slide will go back faster, which is what you want in a competition style gun. So it takes the weight off, but having those inserts in there makes sure that optic is always secure. So I'm really a fan of the optic plates and how they put this gun together. As far as ergonomics on this gun, it feels great in your hand with a couple exceptions for me personally. The one thing about this gun is, and it's maybe just the grip in my hand, but it has a little more recoil than I would expect, and recoil control is a little harder than I'd expect. But I think a lot of that is because this is a 5-inch barrel with a fairly small grip, to be honest with you. And I don't have big hands and it still feels a tad on the small side. The other thing that is a big factor in that recoil management is they stopped the texturing right here. If they would have taken the texturing up here where your thumb and your other support hand and everything had more texture on it, it would just make that recoil management way easier in my opinion. So on the going to the back, it does have a striker indicator right there, which for me isn't really a big deal. I never really go with that, but it is there if you like it. All right, and now for the most important part of this review in my opinion, reliability. This gun, we have 1,000 rounds through at this point, just over 1,000 rounds actually, and it has performed flawlessly. To take that one step further, we know that there's the Canik haters and people that have issues with them, and take this as you will because this is one out of millions of these guns. So there's always a chance you could get a bad one, whatever. All I can do is speak about this one particular pistol. Out of 1,000 rounds, we had 0 issues, and that is shooting reman ammunition. So this is not factory ammunition off the shelf from your gun shop. This is reman ammo. Generally speaking, I shoot that to see if there's issues because reman is not always the same quality. We all know that. So your pistol's only as good as the ammo you put through it. So I figured if we're gonna have issues, it's gonna be with reman. So I decided to shoot nothing but reman through this, and it performed flawlessly. And there's very few guns I can say that about when you're shooting straight reman ammo through. All 115 grain. So as far as reliability, this thing's 100%. Have 0 issues in the world with it. So anybody on the fence about them and read all the bad things that you can read about Canik, which, like I said, you can read that about any brand out there. I wouldn't believe it. I know a lot of friends that have Caniks and all love them, never had any of those issues. Maybe the first Caniks way back in the past, but any of these new present year ones, they've been flawless, and this one's been no exception. Accuracy, everything's great. This gun was just a true pleasure to shoot. So we're excited. We're going to keep it and do a few more rounds, and this is one of those guns, just because of all the debate and haters out there on them, we'll probably do another video with 2,000 rounds later just to make sure nothing's changed and make sure we don't have it wrong. But up till this point, there is a few things I would change that we already talked about. The optic I'm not a fan of. The plates are great though, so choose the optic of your choice and just switch it to that. And then the texturing on this grip would make the recoil management way better, just to make this grip better. And like I said, maybe I'll work on the back straps here, and that will make it a little bit better for me. But those are the only 2 downsides I can see of this pistol. So if you're on the fence about this gun at all, definitely for $600, you can't go wrong. I think it's a real steal, to be honest with you, at that price. So if you're on the fence, go get you one and you won't be disappointed. Thank you guys for joining us today. We appreciate you all more than you know. Until next time, keep practicing and always be prepared.